Hello guys, how are we doing? Long time no see, I hope you guys are well. I do want to apologise for the lack of uploads recently. I know it's been over a week since I last uploaded, which is unlike me. In the past couple of years I've been uploading videos, and it's because we got a puppy. I'm going to pop a little photo of it on screen for you guys to see, not that you guys really care. But that's the reason, she's to blame, so yeah. Head your anger her way. The video you got in the background is of last season. It was towards the end of last season where I didn't quite make Challenger. I was just under Challenger, unfortunately, but hey, that's what happens, isn't it, when you don't play quite as much as you used to. But I go 40 to 16, so it's a pretty solid game. I go absolutely huge in some areas. I clutch up, I streak up, you know, all the usual sort of gubbins. Yeah, and we're going to be discussing this week the CDL. So if you guys are fans of CDL, make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to be doing my predictions about this next coming weekend, as well as my thoughts on last weekend's matches, that sort of thing. And then if we run out of time and there's still more video to go, I'm just going to go into a bit of commentary on the gameplay. So yeah, as I said, long time no see. How are you guys doing? Are you still grinding rank play? I know the platform's a bit dead at the moment. There's not too many people playing it. I know it takes me a hell of a lot longer to queue than it used to. And I know I've seen a lot of people on Cold War for one as well. I mean, I jumped to Cold War towards the beginning of Vanguard before Ranked came out, and it was a lot of fun. But I've seen a lot of people on Cold War. I'm tempted myself, but you know what? I've still got that Vanguard juice in me. I'm still feeling a little bit excited about it. And I enjoy it. It's an up-to-date game. I played a lot of Cold War, so you know it gets a bit stale. But yeah, I might check it out. Anyway, talking of the CDL, let's look at the last week's matches. So it was a interesting weekend. Let's say that London Royal Ravens beat Ultra, Boston beat Tex Optic. I mean, Optic had a mad weekend. Obviously, they're missing Illy, which is a bit of a bummer. And there was an update a couple of days ago from Rambo saying that Illy will be back. I hope they're not rushing him too much into playing, because otherwise it's going to be detrimental to his long-term health. But hey, it is what it is. If they think it's right, you know, they know best. But if I'm honest, Minnesota Rocker with Major Maniac on the other team on Florida Mutineers on, I think it was Sunday that was on. I think Florida Mutineers won 3-0, which I was quite surprised by. Although, you know what, I was rooting for them. With Major Maniac being benched by Rocker and then moved over to Mutineers, I was really rooting for them to win, and they did. As you guys probably know, if you guys are long-standing fans of the channel, I am a bit of an LA Thieves fan, and they had a nuts series against Boston. I know Boston isn't a top-tier team. They started off pretty well at the beginning of the season, but they sort of drifted off towards the end, to be honest, didn't they? I think they played well. Kenny actually turned up for once, so you got, I think it was 1.5 KD in the series, something nuts like that. And it seems to be the case that when LA Thieves do well, it's Kenny's like doing well, and when they do bad, Kenny's like a 0.5 KD. It's just, he seems to be the player that needs to perform in order for them to do well and succeed. However, when they played FaZe on the last match of the weekend, they lost 3-2 with Octane going 0-12 over 2 matches of S&D, which isn't great. I mean, you know, he probably got a couple of limbs, so you know, it probably wasn't too bad. But 0-12 just isn't the one. Poor lad. Poor lad. I was watching the game, and unfortunate things, kills he couldn't finish, that sort of thing. But hey, that's how it is. So, moving to this weekend, we've got a couple of good games. We've got Ultra v FaZe. I'm going to give that one to FaZe just because I think they're the more consistently better team. So if I was a gambling man, not that I am, I would put money on FaZe there for sure. Following that, we've got Ravens versus Rocker. Now, I think Rocker are going to take the hit from last weekend pretty hard. I don't think the team they've got is as good as it has been. And I think Royal Ravens are coming off a good win last weekend against Ultra. So I think they're going to be frying, and I think they're going to be playing well. If Trey Zero can play as well as he has been against Rocker, they should be frying. Seattle Surge versus Boston, I'm going to give it to Seattle. I think anyone in their right mind would. And then an interesting one here is Florida Mutineers versus London Royal Ravens. Being an Englishman myself, I would prefer London to win. You know, a bit of patriotism. But you know what? I like an underdog game. I like an underdog story. I like the fact that Major Maniac was dropped, he moved to Florida, and I wouldn't mind Florida doing well. Optic Texas versus Paris. I mean, Optic have got to take that. If not, they're in the mud. Let's be frank. So that'll be an interesting game. But I'm sure Optic can, you know, get the dub there. Probably a 3-0 to be fair to you. On Saturday at 11 p.m. British time, it's Seattle versus New York. And you know what? Since New York had their change round, since they picked up Paul X and Kismet, I am really rooting for them. I think, as I say, if I was to put money on it, I think Seattle Surge would probably take it. I mean, their team is nuts. They're in great form at the moment. But you know what? Subliners, I'd really like them to get their chance at playing at champs. I think they deserve to play. I think their recent form has been impressive compared to the rest of their year. And you know what? I think Seattle Surge win, but I would really like New York to win that. I think it'd be good, especially with a New York major coming up. FaZe versus Gorillas. I mean, gotta be FaZe. That's easy peasy. Boston versus LAG. Ooh, this is a tough one. I think Boston will take this. And to what I want Boston to take this. I think probably. I'm gonna go 3-2 Boston. I think it's gonna be tight. I think Boston are gonna play well. They maybe lose a couple of S&Ds because LAG are quite strong in their S&D game, but I think Boston will slay out in the respawns. God, I can't think of what I'm trying to say. And then the next game we got is Thieves versus Paris. Again, Thieves have got to take it. They just need to work on their S&D. I think if they can nail their S&D, they're going to be a really, really good team to come up against for the rest of the competition. Again, Kenny needs to perform, and Octane needs to at least get a kill in their S&Ds. That would be nice to see. Moving on to the last game of the week, and it's going to be Optic versus New York Subliners. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this because I know there's a bunch of Optic fans out there, but I would like for New York, as I said previously, to be in the run-ins of champs, and therefore I would like New York to win. However, depending on whether Illy's on form or not, whether he's playing, I don't know if it's been announced properly whether he's playing or not. I think Optic should win. They're putting a grind in. They had an absolute beating last weekend, so I think they're going to be training hard this week, and really rooting for that dub. So I think Optic are going to take it. But I would, as I say, as I've said many times, New York need to be at champs. I think they deserve to be there. But yeah, do you guys agree? What do you think? And if you've got any absolute wild takes, I'd love to see it in the comments. I do find them entertaining. And, after, I think it's 8 days since the last uploaded, I'd love a bit of interaction. Can't complain about that. So yeah, that's not over and done with. Talking now of the gameplay, I'm playing with a couple of friends. This is actually a bit of a sweaty 4-stack, and they got a bit pissed of us using trophies. But we played a couple of their. I think there was like a duo or a trio on their team, and we played them last game, and they were just using. I think it was a Berlin hardpoint, something like that. They were using trophies left, right, and centre. It was a nightmare to play against. So we thought, you know what? I'm not even going to give them a chance this time. We are just going to be using trophies off the rip. Not give them a chance, and I think there's one guy on their team that absolutely hated it, who probably wasn't the guy who played last game, so I do feel a bit bad. But I love the aim assist on that bloody Jeep, by the way. It just, you don't get any. I know that I shouldn't use it as a heady, but I'm washed apparently. Yes, they were annoyed at us using trophies, but hey, it is what it is. What can you do? And that was a dumb chow. So the team I'm playing with is Mercs, God, and Keita, I think it is, or Kiki, who is Keita. Solid teammates. I think most of them were in Master. I think this is a full Master squad other than Joe, possibly. Joe and God maybe Elite, can't recall. But yeah, we're frying. I think you've got me and Keita on the ARs, and then Mercs and God on the subs. I mean, we're playing pretty well. We had a bit of a rough start. We got put in the blender. We got the worst. See, this is one thing I don't like about Tuscan. I think on hardpoint, when you're on the good side, you just spawn a little bit closer because they just get to God heady quicker. I mean, unless there's a rush route that I don't know about from the church side of the map, there's just not a rush route. I think I end up nearly killing myself. What's even watching that back? I was thinking, bloody hell, it's taken way too long to throw that grenade. Yeah, it's looking good. It's P5. There's 40 seconds left. We can't win any more off it, but it would have been nice. And yeah, my teammate got a lovely little pinch from behind and cleared them out, which you love to see. You love to see. I like someone who plays like that, clears them out from behind, does the unexpected. Right, we need 20 points. We need 20 points. They need 63. And on their rotating. Should be easy, right? Should be easy. As long as I don't choke. That is, which I tend to do. I mean, look, what am I doing? I'm stiff. I think, to be fair, I think this is one of my... I think this was the start of the day. So this was maybe like my second or third game on. No, it might have been my third or fourth game on. Anyway, so, you know, I wasn't quite warm, which is my moment. You're seeing a couple of whiffy shots. You're seeing a little lack of movement compared to what you used to see on the channel. But, hey, and there's a team nade as well there for you. So I'm really just playing my life here. I don't want to get picked off and get off the map. So as you can see, even if we had trophies, well, we weren't using trophies, we'd have shat on them because it was, you know, pretty dominant game. But we all played pretty well. And I go 40-16 with a minute and a half on time nearly. I'm glad to be back. Hope you enjoy the gameplay. And yeah, I will catch you in the next video, which I promise you won't be 8 days away. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.